I'm starting to fear we may never see Conor McGregor in the octagon ever again. So in the news today, reported by none other than the Todd Atkins. Credit to him. I trust him. I don't think he would come up with something just for clicks or just for views. I think he's an honorable dude. He's been around the sport for a long time. He's got a lot of connections within the sport. So what he says I take with great sincerity. And what he said was Conor McGregor is no longer interested in fighting Michael Chandler. And ultimately, when I heard that, I'm like, does this make sense? I start thinking of scenarios of why it makes sense. Going off that narrative, I think you could make a good case why it makes sense and why that report would be accurate, because we just look at the timeline of everything. How long have we been waiting for Conor McGregor to get back in the USADA pool? Obviously doesn't. He's in no rush. And if he really wanted to fight Michael Chandler, he'd probably be in a bit of a rush. But that aside, USADA aside, let's just think about this, because Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor coaching on The Ultimate Fighter 31, which was filmed, I believe, end of January, started end of January, ended end of March. So it's been about 3 months since it's ended. And right now, we're 3 episodes in. It looks like Michael Chandler's team is just taking it to him. And I got to say, I mean, there's something different about Conor McGregor on The Ultimate Fighter 31 season that just, it doesn't seem like vintage Conor. Like, it's not as brash, and it's not as controversial. Maybe it's just a little not as vulgar as you may expect. And that action alone makes me think, maybe he's not as enthusiastic as, he once was, which can't blame him. I mean, what does he have to be enthusiastic about at this point in his career? And then I just think the show ends end of March. And so it's been about 3 months. In those 3 months, we've seen him so many other places, not training for the fight, not even looking like he's preparing for a fight, not even talking about the fight. Like, he doesn't even talk about the fight himself. People ask him about the fight. He doesn't even really try to sell it. Like, he's just, it's like something that he's just not even acknowledging. It's out there. People know that he's going to fight him, or they at least think he's going to fight him. They ask him about it, and he wants to talk about other stuff. I mean, he's out at the BKFC event. He was at the Tank Garcia fight. He was just at the Heat game, punching the mascot. Like, he's out doing anything else than training for a fight with Michael Chandler. So the urgency is not there. There's no urgency at all. And you would think, after coaching against this guy in Michael Chandler for however, I think it's 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, somewhere around there, and he's down 3-0, and I don't think it's going to get much better. So he's getting his ass whooped by Michael Chandler as a coach. And then you see him push him push Michael Chandler when they're in that little face-off. So there's like a little animosity there. But then after that, it's like, okay, do I want to fight this guy? I just had to stare at him for 6 to 8 weeks. I probably want to fight him. And then you go back to stuff that he said on the first season when he coached The Ultimate Fighter against Uriah Faber. He was like, "What? This doesn't even make any sense. I can't even fight the guy that I'm coaching against." And then, it doesn't really add up. So he didn't want to coach against Uriah because he couldn't fight him. And then he's finally coaching against a guy that he can fight, and he's not really doing anything to make it happen. I mean, he doesn't even have to do much to make it happen. He probably just got to sign a contract. Get in the USADA pool, sign a contract. If he really wants to do it, and he hasn't done that. People will make stuff happen for him. All he's got to do is sign on a dotted line, get in the USADA pool, and he's good. But he's not doing that. He's not doing that. So what does that tell you? Is he's probably not that interested. Like, does it make sense for Conor McGregor? Because Michael Chandler is not exactly, I mean, he's a scary fight. He's a scary fight. Explosive, got great wrestling, powerful, and he's going to bring the action. But at the end of the day, he is 2-3 in the UFC. I mean, it's not like He's not fighting a champion. What does it do for his legacy? It's going to be an exciting fight. It's going to be a really exciting fight if it does happen. But at the end of the day, what does it do for his legacy? I don't know. Probably not that much. It's a winnable fight, too. I mean, Chandler has been knocked out a couple times, and we all know Conor's got the good hands. And Chandler doesn't really care to use his wrestling. So it's not like a terrible matchup for him. But what does he have to gain from it? Like, maybe he wants a different fight. And since the inception of The Ultimate Fighter 31, Dana has been getting asked over and over and over and over again, when is this fight going to be made? I think after every single post-fight press conference, the question has been asked, when is Conor versus Chandler? He's like, I don't know. I mean, I can't get this guy to fight, which is, a common thing that he says, but it's probably going to be a lot harder to get Conor McGregor to fight than someone that doesn't have the type of money that he has. So I think there's a lot of legitimacy to that. If Dana can't get him to fight and he doesn't want to fight, he's not going to fight. And it doesn't matter what agreement was made with the Ultimate Fighter coaching against each other and with Michael Chandler. I think Conor's going to get his way. So if he doesn't want to fight Michael Chandler, the tallies are adding up. They're adding up. It makes a lot of sense to why this fight hasn't been booked yet and why it doesn't seem like it's going to get booked in the near future. I know they had the T-Mobile Arena scheduled in Las Vegas December 16th. And if Conor McGregor wants to fight this year on that card, he would have to be in the USADA pool by June 16th, which at the time of this video is in 2 days. So he would have to get that sample sent to USADA to be in the pool. That'd be 6 months from June 16th to December 16th. So he's got a very limited time if he wants to make it happen this year. Now, does he even want to? Does he want to fight this year? He said he's wanted to. Does he have some loophole around the USADA where he could get a pass and fight earlier than that? Possibly. If there's anyone that could, it's probably Conor McGregor. But maybe this has just been his excuse to get around not wanting to fight Chandler. Because Conor's a great competitor, and I would think if he really wanted to fight this guy after seeing him for 6 to 8 weeks and losing to him time after time after time, coaching, that he would want to fight him if he really wanted to. And if he doesn't want to, just wait it out. And maybe there's another option that looks better than Michael Chandler. And part of the report from Todd Atkins was throwing Charles Oliveira in the mix there, which, as a Charles Oliveira fan, makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot more sense. And I like it better for Charles because I don't want Charles to go fight in Abu Dhabi again, but that's a different topic. So Charles Oliveira's name is in the mix for a Conor McGregor fight. And I think that one was one that's been talked about before. And that would be, maybe that'd be more insane than the Chandler fight based off of how Charles fights and obviously how Conor fights too. So moving forward, I don't know that we can have great confidence that this Chandler-Conor fight's going to happen. And at the end of the day, we may never see Conor McGregor in the octagon again because it doesn't look like he really cares. Look at his life. What does he really need to do? He's even said it himself. The only reason he's going back into the octagon is for competition. He loves good competition. And at the end of the day, if that's not good competition for you, you're not going to step in the octagon. So Michael Chandler coming off a loss to Dustin Poirier, he might not look at that as good competition. And technically he is 1-3 in his last 4. Michael Chandler is, but he's losing to killers: Poirier, Gaethje, Charles Oliveira. So I don't know. Maybe Conor looks at that like that's not enough competition for me, even though it'd be a fun fight, and maybe there's just not enough to gain for him going into this. But I'm sure he'll stay patient, and at the same time, he's not in the USADA pool, so he could still do whatever he wants. and or maybe he's just waiting for everything to get out of his system and then finally join. But who knows? We may never see him in the octagon again. That would suck. But from the news today that he doesn't want to fight, or he's not interested in fighting Michael Chandler anymore, it just made a lot of sense. But I hope it's not true. I hope that it does happen. I hope he gets in the USADA pool. I hope it happens before the end of the year, because that would be a great headliner to go out on for 2023. If it does happen to be someone else, that's always cool too. But those are my thoughts about it, and I just had to get on here and explain why I think it makes sense. Shout out to Todd Atkins for the news. Go follow him, and you could subscribe here if you like the video. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video. You can follow me on all the socials down below at HeyJivePicks. Thank you for watching. Till next time, signing out.